still a work in progress. Yes, they are going to compete more. Yes, they are better than a year ago, but this is still a long way away for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Let's bring on the James Lipton of the hockey space. He is Steve Peters. You know him well from inside the coach's room. Many saying it's the Inside the Actors studio of hockey YouTube channels, and many people call him my friend. Hi, Steve.
Hey, the only thing you got right there is that I am your friend. The rest of it, not so sure this early in the season.
Wanted to have you on. Wanted to discuss the Chicago Blackhawks because 2 straight wins for them. They ran the Blues out of their own building last night with an 8-3 win. Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar look awesome to begin the season. Also, Teuvo Teravainen, I'll throw in there. Spencer Knight looks like the guy. We always want the Blackhawks to get exciting and good. Are they getting there? What do you think of them so far?
This is hard. Yes, we want to be excited about a team that is young and getting better. And you look at some of their young players, like you mentioned, Nazar was fantastic. Bedard's getting all the points. He had more points last year through 5, but we won't see that. Their young players are good. The reality is this team's still going to finish in the bottom 5 in the league this year. They're still going to be a team that's in that lottery pick. They're young and they're going to make a lot of mistakes. They turn the puck over a tremendous amount in the defensive zone. They're still learning the defensive zone system by Blashill. Still a work in progress. Yes, they are going to compete more. Yes, they are better than a year ago, but this is still a long way away for the Chicago Blackhawks.
What needs to happen for this season to be a good season for them?
I think you need to see little improvements in different areas. And one of those things that we talked about with these young players, you're going to see that ebb and flow of good, solid hockey, and you're going to see that ebb and flow of big mistakes. And I think you need to see some of those guys take a step forward. And we already have. I think that Frank Nazar, when you talk about an exciting forward in the National Hockey League right now, when he's on the ice, things are happening. And I think Chicago fans wanted to see that out of number 98. I think when Bedard's on the ice, you want to see that. But we see that Bedard's a different player. Bedard distributes a puck. Great play along the wall, makes the pass to get the second goal of the game last night. He gets 3 assists. He is a puck distributor. Nazar is going to get to the net. So I think you need to see those young players take that step forward. And I think Rinzel is another one of them, that he's a risk-reward guy. Offensively, he's been great. Defensively, he's still struggling with rush reads, defensive zone reads, and turnovers, but that will come. So if I'm the Chicago Blackhawks management, I'm going, okay, those little successes, we let's not finish 32nd. That would be a good start, but we need to find those young players that start to take those winning habits and do it continually. And when I talk about that, it's Bedard 200 foot, and it's Rinzel learning to defend, Levchinov learning to defend, Nazar playing both ends of the ice. Those little rewards and those little steps are going to be huge for this team. They just have to compete and be in games more often than they were a season ago.
Do you sense any shift in the culture there? Because I feel like this year that team has each other's backs a little bit more. And I mean, we saw a little bit of the returns last year in terms of Bedard's compete and the quote unquote shit on his ass when things were going against them. I feel like Bedard has come out of his shell a little bit more. And I feel like that team has established more of a culture that lends to winning hockey.
I 100% agree. And Bedard, one of the things that you could talk about him, especially his rookie year, and cut him some slack. He's a young kid and he was getting pushed around a little bit more. He is playing with a little more grit. And he is a guy that after a couple of the scrums last night, he's staring down the opponent. You want to see that grit. But absolutely, I think Blashill has been a big key in bringing a different culture. And I hate the word culture. I know it's overused, but accountability maybe is a better word for Chicago right now, in that I think this group is starting to pull together and understand that you have to play a certain way to be successful. And I think one of the things, there's 2 things defensively that they've done better. They changed their neutral zone from a 1-2-2 to a 1-1-3, which allows them to defend the rush much better and start to eliminate those opportunities for their opponent. And secondly, they're really putting an onus on defending in front of the blue paint and protecting their goaltender. And I think they're giving up fewer grade A scoring chances because of it. And there's a lot less confusion. Last year, you'd see Chicago and they're looking around and pointing who's got who. I think there's more structure in their defensive zone game, and that brings accountability, and that brings, hey, when you have good structure and somebody makes a mistake, you know it. And I think that those 2 things defensively have really helped the Chicago Blackhawk team figure out their accountability in the defensive zone.
These players did not write their own lyrics. They had ghostwriters.
Yeah.
The song of the summer. 10 years ago, you probably remember, maybe you don't, maybe you're a new hockey fan. The San Jose Sharks put out a video called Holiday Sweaters. It was a rap song. I'll be honest, it was not the best, but the players rapped and they talked about their holiday sweaters. 10 years later, yesterday, they put out a new song called Holiday Inflatables. We're going to break down these verses in a little bit. Mainly I'm going to read the lyrics of that second part of the Jack Thompson verse. I'm going to note that everybody before him, after Mario Ferraro's first verse, everybody else just had 4 bars. Just a quick ba 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 ba. He went twice as long. And if he had just done the beginning of his verse, if he just did 4 bars, he'd say, I stay up at night peeking out of my bed to see my elf with the oversized head. I got me a dog with inflatable paws, and next year I'm getting me a Santa Claus. That might have been the cleanest verse that existed, because a lot of these verses you see go all over the place. It'll be like, hey, I have an extension cord. Go kiss somebody. And you're like, all right, you're kind of just forcing a bunch of things in here. That was a focused, tight thing. And if you said, what was that about? You'd say that's about a person who likes their inflatables. It's that he continues, I like them bouncy. I like them squishy. I really like the ones that look kind of fishy. Everyone knows that a player's undateable. That's why he bought himself an inflatable, which suggests that in hockey terms, they fuck blow-up dolls.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, he had to extend his verse because he had things to say. And it's that some players on our team too ugly to date, so they fuck blow-up dolls.
Do you think that maybe it was a one for me, one for them?
Yeah.
He made the first single like a poppy 1564. Everyone can kind of wrap their head around it. And then once he was in, almost like how Kendrick followed To Pimp a Butterfly with Damn.
Yeah.
Where he was like, hey, I'm going to make something that is literally going to win me a Nobel Prize because everyone is going to love it so much. Cool, I'm here now. I'm about to rap my dick off.
Maybe it was his like Disney star arc where he does like the wholesome thing, gets famous, gets his groove, gets a fan base established, and then like Miley Cyrus,
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, like I'm about to show you who I really am. You thought I was like this innocent Disney prince. I'm a fuck blow up dolls.
So let's bring in Dustin Lamandola, Sharks Director of Content and Entertainment. Thank you for this incredible song and video that you have gifted the hockey world.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was a great opportunity to work with our players. The objective of this every year, I mean, I think we're kind of known in San Jose and the hockey world for holiday videos, and it's just a great opportunity for us to showcase our players' personalities outside of, the game. We've had a lot of fun through the years doing a lot of holiday videos. I think our biggest one that made a splash was probably 10 years ago when we did the holiday sweater. It was a great opportunity this year with a whole new cast of characters on our team. You have to have the right personality. You just got to have the right buy-in from the players to do something so silly, and them to trust us to write these silly lines and hand that off to them and let them have fun with it. So it's a great opportunity, to reach our core fans, but also reach hockey fans, across the world and get our brand known that way and introduce our players.
So you have answered one of my early questions, which is that these players did not write their own lyrics. They had ghostwriters?
Yeah. So despite the internet's feeling of holiday sweater, I'll break it. Matt Nieto has no writing credit in that song. No, the players have never written this. This has been me and my ghostwriter, Bob Kilberg. And then I bring in a gentleman named Will Mitchell, who's our audio engineer. We wrote the holiday sweater. We wrote in 2 days, and we wrote it on a Tuesday and filmed it on a Thursday. It was a wild ride. I stayed up 2 nights in a row editing it, and then it hit the streets, and it was a big hit. This one we took some more time. We kind of knew I've been thinking about going back to it. Every year we post a holiday video. The first comments is where's the next rap video? So we've been thinking about it, but you need the right people, you need the right team, and these guys are just having a lot of fun right now and really enjoy being together. So it is written by us. How we do this is we write a song, we overwrote, we wrote probably a 8-minute song, and then we kind of go through and figure out what lyrics kind of are playing the best off of our scratch track. So we make a scratch track and a demo. We even record audio on it, and that's what the players are rapping to when they're doing it. So they're lip syncing, and then we put them in the booth and they record their own sound, and that's kind of how we put it together.
So the chat is, first of all, they're calling you a genius. We're getting genius, incredible get. How did you get this guy? What else we got? There's Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Monet, this guy, modern day Michelangelo, genius.
I like the Italian names. Keep them coming.
He's dusting the competition. Like, so people are simping for you right now. They're also asking who wrote everyone knows the player's undateable. That's why he bought himself an inflatable. Was that you?
Yeah, that was me and Bob. We were messing around with the lines. We were having fun. We take a lot of heat from Sharky throughout the year. That he likes to give it as much as possible. So it was a rare opportunity to give a little shot at Sharky. But yeah, no, it was all in fun, and the squishing, the bouncy. Those lines literally came up as we were writing something like this. We were spending a lot of time on Amazon and buying the inflatables at the same time and kind of writing lyrics to them. So we kept. Our notes were that silly. It was like, find one that's more bouncy. Like, we were looking for things that were perfect, and then at the end of the day, we were like, those are kind of silly words. We could use those. So that's kind of how.
The lyric is a dig at Sharky.
Yeah, that was us poking a little fun at Sharky there. Yeah.
Okay, so the idea of the Sharky needing an inflatable, I think Sean
Thompson when Thompson does this to him. So yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So Sean, I mean, you've got I don't know if you were at the All-Star game last year, but Sharky was actually spotted with the extremely in-demand Tate McRae, and it looked like they were cozying up to each other. So the talk all last year was that Sharky had game and like girls want to be with him.
He may.
Guys want to be him.
I don't know what he does on his outside time, but it was just a chance for us to give him a dig because he's always coming around getting us with some kind of prank. So it's that kind of thing.
As you're writing this stuff, are you rapping it to yourself in your head or like doing?
Unfortunately,
doing the rap?
yes.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, the scratch tracks and things for both of these have been unfortunately me and Bob. So yeah.
I need to ask about the players who were willing to do it and players who were not willing to do it, because
we had many more players who wanted to be a part of it for sure. It literally comes down to scheduling. So there were people who were scheduled to do this the night before who unfortunately, due to the game the night before, when they had said yes, whatever happened in that game changed their next day as far as, recovery, rehab, whatever. So there's all those different things that we were playing with. We had a very small window, and you kind of always do on projects like this because December is such a busy time. So we filmed this on November 4th, and that was between road trips and all kinds of games that the players were going through. So, and we were getting ready for the Jumbo ceremony ourselves. So it was kind of like, in the middle of all the production and all the documentaries we were making for Jumbo. So it was a lot of fun though. It was, it's one of those passion projects that it's not your everyday thing when you get to make a silly comedy rap song, unless you work for Saturday Night Live. So
I think the obvious absence here, and a lot of people are asking about it, why was Jake Wallman not involved? Because we don't know him as a rapper, but we do know him as a dancer. He could have at least been on the dance group.
Yeah, no, it could have just been scheduling. I don't actually know the answer to that one myself on each individual guy and why they could or couldn't make it. But, we were just really excited with the team we got, and it was really fun to watch. It's always fun to watch the Europeans guys do it as well because, it's just it's a second language. So, blow mold plastic wasn't exactly known to Eklund. He was like, what is that? So
neither do we. We couldn't find the lyrics.
Yeah.
I was transcribing the lyrics, and I was like, are you hearing this? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, blow mold plastic is the Santa that's in that shot. Those old stand-up Santas. That's what those are made out of. So yeah,
the commitment was there. Yeah. I mean, I went back and I watched the holiday sweaters one. The commitment on the holiday sweaters one was like a little like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if I'm like out to get got. This one, I think the song's better and the performances and the commitment level is way better. And
the video's sick too.
It's amazing. It's really, really good. So high marks across the board from me.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the guys, yeah, it really did help a lot to get fast raising hands this time to have 10 years ago's version to show. We had nothing to show the guys last time, and we were like, hey, we're throwing this at the wall. We wrote this 2 days ago. And so, yeah, Shepard and, JD and those guys did a great job. But yes, they certainly didn't know what they were getting themselves into, I don't think. So,
Dustin, you did such an incredible job on this. We can't wait for the next one. It's all very interesting how you put it together, and it rocks that you've got such a fun group of people who are willing to do it, but that's no surprise to us because that is such a fun group that you have in San Jose.
thanks for letting me talk about it.
What was your favorite verse? I don't know if Thompson is my favorite verse. Thompson's the news story, but
I really like Fabian Zetterlund.
yes, he's mine. Fabian Zetterlund.
They look so tested when it inflated. Even Sharky is elated. Correct them all, buy as many as you can. I'm saving money for a giant snowman.
He's saving money.
He's Fabian Zetterlund is Swedish, correct?
Yes, correct.
He's like a Swedish Danny Brown. Where it's got a little trickery to it.
What's this guy up to? I love that verse. I love the delivery. I think I love Nico Sturm's mannerisms the most out of anything in this video. He is very robotic, but also kind of natural. Let's look at the mannerisms. They're so good. He also looks like a diehard henchman.
I don't gotta be home to throw the switch. My holiday display blows up without a hitch. If you put them up, you better tie them down, cause they could float off to the very next town. You don't like mine? Well, that's a bummer. I'm keeping them up until next summer.
Yeah, when his verse starts, he comes in with, I'm not a good rapper, I'm not a good rhymer. He's got his work cut out for him to win me over with that verse, because when people rap and they're like, I know, why am I rapping? You're like, then go. Don't do.
We got plenty of guys on this team who could fill the shoes.
And definitely nobody asks for rap songs from people who don't rap.
That's true.
And generally people don't ask for songs from people who not only, it's one thing people don't want songs from non-popular musicians. If I came in and was like, I made a song, at least part of you or anybody would be like, fine, let's hear it, So when you got to own it, and they owned this so much, that it goes from I'm not a good rapper, I'm not a good rhymer, which I kind of grown at, to but all my inflatables are set to a timer. I'm like, all right, that's how you get me back, because I want this to be about, you think you know everything about these inflatables? Well, you do. And I'm still going to list them. There's a timer. I plug them in. They blow up. They go up and they go down. Sometimes they're of Santa Claus. Sometimes they're of something else. They make me, get this, happy. I bought them. There's no new information.
I saved my money for this, and I acquired one. And I also know how extension cords work. That's incredible.
The thing I love about this is that I feel like making this about the inflatables is such my mind would never go there. In terms of Christmas things, the sweaters make sense, but then there's you do Christmas cookies, all this Christmas stuff, to go to the outdoor front lawn inflatables and have it work so well.
It also it does feel appropriate, because inflatables are for sure having a moment. People fucking love inflatables now. And I don't remember them being, maybe I'm wrong, I don't remember inflatables being as prevalent even 10 years ago when the holiday sweaters one came out.
I didn't see them when I was a kid. And because I remember when I would see inflatable ones, I'd be like, that person must be crazy rich. Can you jump on that? I don't it was just so foreign. I'd never seen it before.
I feel like there was a lot more station. I mean, they mentioned in the song, the plastic things, or the robotic reindeer that have lights on them and stuff.
Okay,
you
so
mentioned
Olivia notes, by the way, that and the song does imply this, that it's a California thing.
No, it's definitely not.
No. That they're everywhere in California. So maybe they've been going on for a longer time, but
just made their way over to the East Coast.
It also makes sense because those things can get fucked up with bad weather.
True.
So to just have them blown up, not have to worry about them getting dirty.
Somebody spent their verse talking about how to tie it down. So you just
True.
got to listen to that verse, and you'll know how to tie it down. Make sure it doesn't end up in the next town.
That's the biggest thing.
We all sitting like the mayor.
Great game, Florida Panthers, but if ever there were a time that it is most important to hold to the no takeaways rule, it is now, after there is a 6-1 shit kicking. But let's begin with game 3. Absolutely crazy game, and I started to listen to 32 Thoughts this morning, and I had to pause it and turn it off and say, no. I had the same fucking idea, Elliot, and you're going to do it better than me and smarter than me and certainly more deliberate than me. So I don't want to do the same exact show. Elliot Friedman probably did a show where he had a lot more information from you, but we had similar thoughts. So I will.
32?
Yes, I had 32 thoughts on this game, and I have a lot less hair as a result of it. But quick reads on this from you guys. You did unmitigated disaster. We do. I agree with that.
Yes, I said it last night, but it was by far, unequivocally, the Oilers' worst game of the playoffs.
Correct.
And they should be fucking embarrassed by the way that all went down from the start to the finish. All of it extremely embarrassing for the Oilers. But I'm doing the no takeaways thing. Like it doesn't have a ton of carryover for me because the Oilers have proven time and time again they are very capable of flushing horrible games and learning from them and being better off from them as a result. Am I confident that they're going to be coming out on the other side of this better for it? I'm not totally sure, but I'm not willing to write it off either.
Yes, apologies to the Florida Panthers that we are doing the no takeaways thing, but that's been our plan this whole series. And great game, Florida Panthers, but if ever there were a time that it is most important to hold to the no takeaways rule, it is now, after there is a 6-1 shit kicking. Sean?
I don't even, rule or no rule, it is I'm not forcing myself to not have a takeaway. That's just my honest reaction to what I've said. I think the absolute worst thing that could have happened to the Edmonton Oilers last night happened. That means nothing for me as far as how game 4 is going to go.
Okay, I have broken this game down into, as I am putting weight, as my tailor says, I've broken it into protein, carbs, and sweets, okay? And what made me turn off 32 Thoughts is he didn't use the same terminology, but Elliot off the top said, what a lot of people are going to want to focus on is what I am calling, DJ, I am calling the sweets. And he's like, that's not really what, if you're the Oilers, you should be worried about. So I'm going to break it down. The sweets, I'll say.
We're starting with sweets?
Do you want to go start sweets? Carbs are, we want to do protein?
I don't know. This is your meal, man.
Okay.
But if we're starting with sweets, that's
protein
crazy.
of this is the Oilers took 4 bad first period penalties after giving up a fire drill goal 56 seconds into the game. They took 3 offensive zone penalties and a too many men penalty. That's all in the first period. After, as I said, fire drill goal, Stu Skinner goes to get a soda in the stands. I forget who he was following. Is it Lindell?
Lindell, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, where's that guy going?
It was a bad pinch.
I'm going with a bad pinch, as Pete said on the stream. That's a protein for me. That is a, what happened? Why did you lose that game? That's a start. You have a comment?
I have a comment, and it was another reference to last night's stream, which if you're not watching our watch-along streams, come join us on YouTube every game day. But my favorite part of last night was 5 minutes into the game. We were like, hey, the Oilers haven't committed an offensive zone penalty yet. And they committed 3 offensive zone penalties in the first period after that comment was made. That is stunning.
Sam Reinhart, a goal, an assist, 4 shots on goal, 3 blocked shots. Welcome to the series, Sam Reinhart. That, folks, is protein.
Juicy protein.
That is protein. The Oilers' power play is 1 for 6, which is 16.7% in each of the last 2 games. That is protein. The Oilers scored 1 goal in the game. That is protein. And Sergei Bobrovsky has a .937 save percentage over the last 2 games. Folks, that might give you gout.
Can I ask why it's 2 games and not 3 games?
Because he wasn't as good in game 1.
He's
been the better goalie in the last 2 games.
I agree that he wasn't as good.
And he's having a good series.
I agree that he wasn't as good in game 1 to the eye test, but the numbers were the exact same.
Really?
Yeah, he saved 42 out of 46 shots from both games.
Let's okay, I'll take your word for it. But 937 save percentage over the last 2 games, and definitely I'm saying a 925 at least for the series. If I don't know, Sean, if you want to effort it. The Carbs. Edmonton gave Florida 11 power plays. That's a real thing. You got to not give a team 11 power plays. Is that happening all the time?
Definitely not.
No.
But you allowed Florida to score 3 power play goals
Yes.
in that game. And previously, heading into last night's game, they had won the entirety of the playoffs heading into last night at home.
Stuart Skinner got pulled after 5 goals and, have to note, a delay of game penalty. LOL.
That LOL is well deserved.
That's a carb, and Chris Knobloch cried about the officiating. Never rule out a coach crying about officiating in a series, because we have seen it can have an impact going forward.
For sure. And like, this is prime to be mocked. Like, your team lost 6-1. You looked horrible across the board in every facet of the game. But honestly, like, the one thing that Chris Knobloch can maybe get like a win from last night is by crying about officiating and changing maybe the way that officiating is done moving forward. Like, we've seen that happen.
Officiating last night was very terrible in favor of the Oilers it favored the Panthers when the game mattered. The Oilers played so poorly that I am grateful the officiating was bad, because they were going to lose whether the officiating was good or bad. At least now, one part of my brain gets to talk myself into, hey, what if they called Matthew Tkachuk running over Stuart Skinner? What if they called Sasha Barkov mauling I forget who before the 3rd goal? If there is any sort of change made in officiating due to Chris Knobloch crying, or due to all the stupid gooning it up, and we'll get to the sweets in just a minute, that theoretically could help Edmonton.
Theoretically.
Because if officials say, there's 2 things that are going to come after this game, which is a 2-day break and officials saying, cut the shit, we're going to start calling more stuff. If the Oilers are not stupid, both of those things favor them. So they can use those to their advantage. Will they? We shall see. The Sweets. 140 penalty minutes in the game. 1 billion penalties in the 3rd period. Jonah Gadjevich stuck his tongue out at someone. What a legend. Game of his life. Amazing. Loved everything that he did. Fought Darnell Nurse. It was too long. Everyone loved that. I got a little bored by the end. Jake Wallman squirted his water bottle. Trent Frederick broke his stick cross-checking Sam Bennett. Someone threw ketchup on the ice. And someone, who we noted on the stream, Caucasian, dumped a beer on Kasperi Kapanen. I understand that all those things, especially for a show called What Chaos, should make the headlines. Those are maybe the most fun things we saw.
Definitely.
Those are the least likely things to carry over into the next game. And that is why when a lot of people's takeaway is like, the Panthers have done this, the Oilers have done this, the Oilers are now this, the Panthers are now this. I'm like, that is the stuff that is least likely to carry over. I think the stuff that Edmonton should be more worried is going to carry over is that save percentage of Sergei Bobrovsky's, is that power play percentage of theirs, is Sam Reinhart coming alive, is Brad Marchand continuing to be an absolute dog, is Edmonton coming out and playing stupid in the first couple of minutes. Like, those are things that I could see happening again if they're not careful. Being down 1 million goals and acting like absolute losers, teams do that. Like, Panthers do that.
Yeah, I think that's a totally fair assessment, honestly. And there's plenty of things to be concerned about, but acting like this whole thing is done and over because one game got swung heavily in one direction. Like, I know the series stands at a different point this year versus last year, but the Oilers won a game 8-1 last year. And yeah, they were down in the series, but like, they won a game 8-1 and nobody like overreacting was like, oh man, they have broken the Panthers.
There was a tweet going around last night that the team that blew out the other team in wins last Stanley Cup final lost.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tweet from me. It got like 2 likes and then one person saying cry or something.
We all silly like the mayor.
Even if Logan Cooley isn't having a run where he's third in the NHL in goals, JJ Peterka will have a run at some point this season where he's third in the NHL in goals.
No, I'm like willing
Dylan
to say
Guenther will.
that is one of the best lines in the entire NHL.
The Mammoth are first in the Western Conference, despite losing 2 of their first 3 games this season. Everything changed on October 15th. What happened then, you ask? Sean, what happened?
Years and years of searching. Utah, I present to you the greatest discovery of my life.
Tusky came.
That's right.
We had a lot of questions about Tusky. Sean and I believe, were giving Tusky the benefit of the doubt out the gate. Pete was a little more...
I was pro Tusky. The only problem I had with Tusky was that his body, he's a little too slim. I want a thicker Tusky.
He was not breedable enough.
He was not breedable enough, which is funny. We never talked about this because, and this has been a consistent theme throughout the naming of the Utah Mammoth, the Colorado Mammoth, Colorado sports fans and the Colorado Mammoth, the NLL team there, they've gotten very upset.
Mm-hmm.
They've been, please like my team.
Don't care.
We've been the Mammoth first. No one's ever given a shit. No one cares.
I hate
but they have a Mammoth mascot as well, and that motherfucker is breedable. He is thick as a motherfucker. Like, why?
So
Good
they
for
should
him.
be like, we're
God
not
damn.
going to steal your name. We didn't steal your name.
We didn't steal your name, but they shouldn't have
we
stolen
would
the
like to
mascot.
steal your mascot.
Yeah, he's brown, like an actual mammoth, not blue. He looks more like a true to form mammoth, I suppose. Still mascotty, but yeah.
What if Tusky and that mammoth did breed? And then you at least
biracial mammoth?
get the,
I'm on board.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Yeah.
I mean, I
If
certainly
Sean
don't
has
have
a problem with that.
Yeah.
I will say I was a TBD on Tusky. Like I wasn't going to judge Tusky by his cover. I wanted to read the contents of his book, his lore, and I'll tell you what.
Recently.
There is a lot of lore being injected into Tusky right now because of his effect on the team.
Yes, a lot of lore, such as the fact that Sean, since revealing Tusky, the Utah Mammoth, 7-0-0, which is the best record in the NHL. You know who leads the NHL in points since October 15th, Pete?
Who leads in points?
Yes.
Yes, but I think it's because Sean tipped me off.
That's right, folks. It's Nick Schmaltz with 14 points. A real, like, number 4 starter, also 7-7. 7 goals, 7 assists.
Nick Schmaltz is
Perfectly balanced.
It's a meat and potatoes point total.
very, I would say, slept on NHL player. Like, I feel like the last like 4 years in Utah/Arizona, he's been the topic of trade conversations. He never gets traded. He's always been hanging out in a line with Clayton Keller, and it's done well for him.
He's just like a perfectly, not fine, but like perfectly
Serviceable.
very good, not very good, perfectly
He does his job.
above average NHL
Yeah.
player.
That's
Yes.
that's a lot of the Utah Mammoth, I would say, are above average NHL players.
Ride
Some
Nick
very
Schmaltz on underdog. And also ride Clayton Keller because he's 11 points deep since October 15th. That's third in the NHL, baby. That's right. They got 2 players who are top 3 in the NHL in points since Tusky came around. 2 players.
good. And when we had PD on, was the specifically said about the Utah Mammoth that Clayton Keller needs to be better. And look at what he's done.
Are any of these players in America?
Are any of these players playing on U.S. soil? Yes, Pete. Logan Cooley is playing on U.S. soil, and boy, is he doing a great job. 6 goals, is third in the NHL, and he looks like Paul Dano with longer hair. Doesn't he look like Paul Dano?
Yeah, I had never thought about that until you said it.
guess.
And now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, he could splash around in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And just some overall stats for the team. Since revealing Tusky, 4.57 goals per game. That is second in the NHL. And I just had to throw in the top 5 because the top 5 is very fun. You got the Islanders leading the way, then the Mammoth, then the Penguins, who are good today, the Buffalo Sabres, and the New Jersey Devils just walking that Mucinex guy, who is real.
Man, I've just not like the most exciting thing to see if you're a Mammoth fan, I guess. Like if the number you're using to suggest that this is a good team is flanked by the New York Islanders and Pittsburgh Penguins.
It does underscore that
Maybe not great, but
maybe it isn't super sustainable.
Yeah, but Sabres and Devils are good teams.
But here's
So
the
maybe
thing.
it
They've
is.
got the guys to, even if Logan Cooley isn't having a run where he's third in the NHL in goals, JJ Peterka will have a run at some point this season where he's third in the NHL in goals.
No, I'm like willing to
Dylan
say
Guenther will.
that is one of the best lines in the entire NHL, and that I believe can be sustainable.
I mean, that was what I was saying about Utah going in, is that like into the season, is that they could very easily have like the best top six in hockey at the end of the season, or one of the best top sixes in hockey at the end of the season. And they're fucking balling out now.
So, like, what I did the other day when I went to the Bruins game, shout out Underdog, I looked at the line that I'm obsessed with, which is Arvidsson, Zacha, and Middlestat. And I was like, whichever one of these guys has the best bang for the buck on more than half a point, I'm just going to do.
Okay.
Just do that with that line, and you're probably going to be rewarded.
Yeah.
I say
like,
probably. I don't know.
Just play the points, because somebody's going to produce on that line. Like, that line is electric. I would put it up there with one of three of the best lines to watch in hockey.
Chat says Jack Hughes' Mucinex mention is crazy.
Well,
welcome to our thank you, new listener. Absolutely not crazy. That is what we do around here. We talk about the Mucinex monster. But Utah being as good as we hoped this quickly rocks. Sean, any lingering Arizona sadness to see this little run taking place? Or
I'll always be sad for my Arizona people. This was always like, this plan did not change when they went to Utah.
yes,
This was Bill Armstrong's plan. And obviously, you might not have guys like JJ Peterka as eager to go to. But I would also think, like, if they had good ownership, every NHL player wants to go to Arizona. So, like, yeah, I mean, all of this should have been Arizona's, but there's no one to blame other than Alex Morello. And yeah, it makes me sad, but it's also awesome to see these players succeed.
Just like the vibe in Utah right now is so good. Like, I just feel like there is no better team to recommend to somebody who's on the fence about liking hockey and finding a team to root for, because right now Utah's got a very fun team. You're on like the ground floor a little bit,
Ground one.
and like there's just everybody in that team and around that team is so excited to be rooting for it that you're not going to get these curmudgeon-y assholes that are gatekeeping fandom. I feel like they're very, very happy to welcome everybody to the bandwagon. So if you've got the search for a team and you're trying to jump on the NHL bandwagon this year, just start at Utah.
And like, again, make it about the Sabres. Like, there's been a couple of instances on Twitter and stuff like that, but largely they're like incredibly positive about other teams. Like, they've been so positive about Josh Doan and the Buffalo Sabres. Like, they like seeing, like, they're in a place where they haven't been disillusioned or anything like that. Like, they're just excited to be a part of hockey. And I think it's a good culture for new hockey fans. It's not like you're signing up to be a Vancouver Canucks fan where the fandom can be very toxic.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, all the vibes are good and it's very welcoming in Utah right now, which I'm a huge fan of that.
jump on that line.
Also, Andre Torini needs respect. No one ever talks about him as being like a really good NHL coach, and he has been a coach that has consistently gotten this team to perform above expectations over the last like 5 years. So
A very fun part about this run, by the way, for the Mammoth is that they're just doing it by scoring. Karel Vejmelka is 5-0-0 his last 5 games with a sub 900 save percentage. Yes, it's .899, which is still good, but it's not like they're limiting chances and playing lights out or whatever. They're just scoring a bunch of goals because they have a bunch of guys who can score goals. I'm on board with that. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything: daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.
There's a lot of similarities between these two teams, how they have dug in, faced adversity, used their strengths.
Let's say hello to the great Randy Moeller, Panthers color commentator, Buffalo Sabres legend. Randy, how are you?
How you doing, guys? I'm just trying to center myself here, center my life, center my chair, and get ready to go. Well, finally, I get an invitation to come on this crummy show of yours. It's a pleasure.
We have enough people in Florida calling us crummy right now. We got the whole Levitard show on our case. Please be gentle with us, Randy.
No problem. I love how you introduced me as a Buffalo Sabre legend. God rest his soul, John Muckler. He was the head coach when I was there, and I had I guess it was a nasty habit of back in those days flipping the puck in the stands and firing into the stands. And I remember we were at home back in the old odd, and I had probably put the puck in the stands 3 times, and it's halfway through the third period. And it's a TV timeout, and the face-off's in our zone. And Muckler says to me in front of the whole team, now remember, we got Robbie Ray, Brad May, Matthew Barnaby, Davey Hannon, Wayne Presley, Colin Patterson. We had some characters, Gord Donnelly on the team. And we're all over there. And okay, Muckler's saying, okay, we got to win the draw. And Moeller, if you fire the puck in the stands one more time, you're not playing. Face off in our zone. It comes back to me in our zone, and I go to whip it around the boards. It goes off of my stick, and it goes a missile 4 feet in the air right into our bench. And everybody's just diving like somebody threw a hand grenade in. And why I tell this story is that the Buffalo Sabres legend, if you ask all these guys, and everybody on the ice, both teams, everybody, it was dead silent, and they're just killing themselves laughing. And now the face-off's going to be on the other side. And I'm just skating around by myself way in the back corner. I won't even look at the bench. And oh my God, the guys laughed and laughed and laughed over that. Yeah, Buffalo Sabres legend. But you know what? I had a great time there. Played with Pat LaFontaine, Alex McGillney, Dale Howard-Chuck, Doug Bodger, Dominic Hasek. Oh my God! I played with as we nicknamed him, Cecil Fielder, their Grant Fuhr. He was there. Showed up at one training camp, and he was just a little bit out of shape, but whatever. So you got that nickname or whatever. But played with a lot of those guys. John Muckler, John Tortorella was assistant coach. I had a fabulous time there.
First of all, that is very Disney-esque, where like you have the character of the professional hockey player who can do everything right, except whenever he gets the puck, he shoots it out of the like they have the guy in the Mighty Ducks who can't stop. He's the best skater, but he can't stop. Someone in the chat notes, though, Randy, it's a miracle that puck did not hit Rob Ray's face.
Well, I think I came close a few times. Actually, and honest to God, John Tortorella and I, every time we see each other, we have a nice little giggle. But for a few years, I broke his jaw. I fired into the bench, and he was leaning over talking to Colin Patterson, and Patter saw it coming, and he ducked, and John Tortorella got it right in the side of the face and broke his jaw. Ooh, he was not happy at me. Not happy.
He's not the last player to probably want.
Hockey rocks, man.
Not the last player to want to break John Tortorella's jaw, though. I would
Very
imagine.
fair.
Yeah. Let me ask. Do you think
he was pretty intense back then too? He was a great coach, and we laugh about it now. I mean, it's 28 years later or whatever like that. So we have a good laugh about it. Whenever you have Torts on, ask him about that. Ask about Moeller breaking your jaw.
Oh, man, I want to have Torts on so bad.
Oh, yeah.
As a Florida man, do you think Connor McDavid is overrated?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. He's the best player in the world. Why would anybody dispute that? He's the fastest skater. And what I say about Connor McDavid, that very, very few players in the history of the game, he can there's maybe a couple of other guys and that, but he's be able to make plays at such a high level of speed. Not many players have that special talent, and he's able to do that. Did I read that already through the playoffs, he leads the NHL with 64 end-to-end rushes. 64 end-to-end rushes.
I think like more than double the next guy.
That would make sense. And that's why, we are definitely a pro McDavid podcast.
Yes.
Here.
On record, we think that guy's good.
Yeah. So Oilers, I think everyone agrees, are better than they were last year. Panthers, everyone should definitely agree, are better than they were last year. And one of those teams already has won the Stanley Cup. Why do you think the Panthers are better than the team that last year looked really, really tough and proved impossible to beat?
It's tough for me to judge. I mean, they won the Stanley Cup, so there's, I have so much respect for the players that helped them win the cup. The Vladimir Tarasenko's, the Kyle Opozos, the Kevin Stenlins, Lomberg. It goes on and on. I got so much respect for that. For me to say, oh, this year this Panther team is better than last year, maybe that's a little disrespectful. I will say that they're similar in the talent, the character, and the chemistry that they had last year. Is that a chicken way out of answering
No,
your question?
it's perfect. I mean, now we get to clip.
Come on, call him a chicken.
Florida
Call him a
Panther,
chicken.
Florida Panthers broadcaster : Panthers have gotten worse, and it will do lovely in Edmonton. Thank you very much.
DJ Bean calling Randy Hall
that.
a chicken would be the funniest thing to happen on this show.
I hear you, and I mean, I did a bad job of. I mean, that was obviously a loaded question. I said, "Why are they better?" When in fact, I should have been asking, "Do you feel they are better?" And it's interesting because a lot of people could also say, "Well, no, maybe Edmonton's not better either," because that team had Zach Hyman, and that team had a sure thing healthier Matthias Ekholm. Like there are elements, and so maybe in fairness, we shouldn't just say this is a souped up version of what we got last postseason because the pieces are different.
Well, let's quote what Paul Maurice. I think he said it yesterday or the day before. I've lost track of time. Where he talked about both teams. He said Edmonton was known as a high octane offensive team. Maybe the defensive side of their game wasn't as good as maybe some other teams in the NHL. The Panthers, historically, the last 3 years, have relied on and been very proud of being, if not the best defensive team in the league, at least the top three. What Paul Maurice said, he said, Edmonton hasn't lost any of their offense, but they've improved defensively. Their structure's better. They're getting key, great goaltending when they need it, and that's been proven in this playoffs. The Panthers have improved offensively. They're still the same defensive, very strong defensive, physical team, but they've really improved their offense. And I mean, they went for a clip there in the playoffs this year where they were averaging 5.8 goals a game. That's pretty tough to do in the playoffs, and the Panthers were doing that. And you look on the road, where they're 8-2 on the road, and they have really brought up the offense, which is not shocking, but I think it's a little bit has opened a few people's eyes that they're now not winning games on the road 2-1, 1-0, like we saw, Matthew Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe scoring those overtime goals, 1-0, 2-1. They're winning. They're scoring 5 or 6 goals. So to wrap it all together, I think Edmonton is still a high octane team. They got 2 of the top players in the world with Draisaitl and of course McDavid. And the Panthers are still strong defensively, but they've both improved offensively and defensively. It's going to be a hell of a series. So many people ask me, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Well, it's the way the Panthers played and the way they overcome some adversity. And the same thing with the Edmonton Oilers. Both these two teams, guys, were in the same spot. Down 2-0, Edmonton to LA, struggling, could go down 3-0. They come back and win that game. Same thing with the Panthers, down 2-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were trailing in that third game by 2 goals twice, and they came back and won in overtime. Marchand scored the goal and ended up winning the series. There's a lot of similarities between these two teams, how they have dug in, faced adversity, used their strengths, and I just believe that if you really put me up against the wall, I believe that the Panthers have the edge in goaltending because Sergei Bobrovsky has been there before. He's been very consistent, And if he is just normal Bob, I think you have to give the goaltending edge to the Panthers. And that's no disrespect to Stuart Skinner. He has proven that he's a world-class goaltender. But I think Bob, because of the experience and everything, it has the edge in that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought the biggest advantage was. Would it be goaltending?
Well, or I mean, I'm just throwing out cliches. Goaltending, special teams. I mean, Edmonton can almost score at will. The Panthers, I think you can go back and look at, they scored some key power play goals in some games, but it's been their penalty killing that's been very strong. It's their penalty killing has been strong, and they have three sets of forwards, and they can put out any six defense. And even after they kill off the penalty, it doesn't disrupt their their lines and their chemistry of what they're trying to do. What I find intriguing in this series, guys, and I'm sure you talked about it, is now Connor McDavid is playing on the back end of those penalty killing. And all of a sudden, their guy, if they kill it off and he comes out and McDavid's got hit the puck on his stick, look out. You better be prepared because he's going north and he's going with speed. So the Panthers have to be very aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked yesterday about like what's the biggest thing that each team should exploit with the other group. And for Florida, we said you have to exploit that this is a penalty kill that has struggled. And a lot of the key pieces from that unbelievable Edmonton penalty kill last year, even if you want to say Cody Ceci and Matthias Ekholm hasn't been there this postseason, now he's back. Like both of those guys haven't been there. The Ryan McLeods of the world, like like so many of the pieces are different. And yes, of course, Edmonton has a very good power play even without Zach Hyman, but that penalty kill has been a weakness. And there are so few things that can tangibly be like circled and say, this thing about either of these teams isn't good. Penalty kill for Edmonton has not been good. And then the thing for Florida that we said hasn't been good, which is kind of weird, is that they're not as good a home team. Like they've got an even goal differential at home. And of course, when Florida is wearing their red uniforms against the Edmonton Oilers in June, they should feel amazing things because something quite good happened in that setting last year. Why do you think, though, this year they've been such a better road team than they've been a home team?
I just think they just go back to their roots and their DNA, their bread and butter, which is they don't have to put on a show like they, at home. I don't think it's not self-consciously or whatever, but I think that they get on the road and the Panthers dump the puck in more than any team in the NHL. And the reason for that is because they have speed up front and they're going to go like a bat out of hell. And the Florida Panthers, I think everybody can agree. And if you even watch this year's playoffs, not even watch a game in the regular season, they're the best forechecking team in the league. And they are riverboat gamblers. Their defense are going to pinch down that wall. They are going to do everything they can. Their defensemen are going to hold that blue line to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Yeah, they're going to get caught, and they have in these playoffs and that, but they are going to smother. They are going to come 3-4 checkers, and they're going to be physical. They're going to take a few penalties for boarding and that maybe some late hits or whatever. But their philosophy is, and it's well known, they think, okay, it's a 7-game series. We're going to physically wear down the opponents in the first 4 or 5 or 6 games. And then if it has to go to game 7, then we're going to win. Look what happened in the Toronto series.
Unbelievable.
I did want to ask you, from the Oilers standpoint, like Connor McDavid probably has the most at stake here in terms of legacy to shut up the Greg Codys of the world. But from Florida's standpoint, who individually might have the most at stake in this series in terms of legacy?
Well, I think that Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be a shoo-in to be a Hall of Famer. I think there'll be no discussion. But if the Panthers win the Stanley Cup and Sergei Bobrovsky is the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, then it's sealed and delivered. I mean, you can put that envelope away. I don't think he feels pressure. He's done it all. He will be a Hall of Famer, but you asked me a specific question, and I think Sergei Bobrovsky, if he's won a Stanley Cup, but if he wins the second one and gets a little bit more hardware along with it, then that's going to really cement it.
To that point, if Bobrovsky wins the cup this year, he becomes one of 4 goaltenders with multiple cups and Vezinas.
Right.
Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur,
Dominic Hasek.
and Dominic Hasek. Like that, to join those 3 names as a goaltender, that's something special.
Kind of wild to think that in 3 years, Stu Skinner's going to be on that list too.
God.
It's crazy what company there will be there. Randy, thank you so much for joining us. You are unbelievable. We could talk 90s Sabres with you all day, and we intend to at some point.
Yeah, we will. We will. Yeah, and if you want, get Davey Hannon on your program, and he'll tell all kinds of lies about me that are not true. I was never convicted. I was never suspended. So, but thanks for having me on, guys. I really enjoyed it, and this should be a hell of a series. As I like to say, it's going to be a ring-a-ding-a-dong dandy.
I love that you like to say that. Thank you so much, Randy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
We all silly like the mayor.